Welcome, Wendy Anderson, justbe.me. So Indigo switch on. So we are coming out of certain third dimensional programs. No judgment around it. They're not good nor bad. They're just a set of programs. So I've discussed these in last videos: fear, shame, sadness, anger, all of them. That we've discussed. So the indigo switch on, you will now be getting to the point where it's kind of like you are roughly seeing your old programs, and you are raising your consciousness to have an inclination into shifting them into another vibration. So this is the next set of programs in 5D, and indigos, you will be feeling the big switch on right now. And the big word at the moment is surrender. Surrender into those programs. So these programs are creating a heaven on earth. So this is where I was saying in another video, get out of your comfort zone. So creating heaven on earth, where every day feels like you're on holiday, for you indigos and other beings on this planet as well. Feeling like you're on holiday all the time, check out your worth program. I don't deserve to be on holiday all the time. I must self-persecute. I must work graft in order to get my holiday. No, you don't. Not in the new programming, not in the new 5D reality. Every day it can feel like a holiday. Every day of the why in it is opportunity to celebrate it. So much joy in the 5D reality. This is the new program. Going beyond judgment of good and bad. We've always judged, we've learned these ethics and values, and they are learned. So anything learned is in the brain, it's up here. The truth is always here. It comes from the heart. So good and bad is just a value created by third dimensional programs and even religion for its own purposes, to teach the lessons of love in a different way, but it can be a limiting way. It's not an expansive or limitless way. Merging duality to unite unity consciousness. So unity consciousness means that I can see the dark and the light, and they can both coexist together. So the yin and yang energy, the male and female. So if you look at the yin and yang symbol, it's black and white, but it's also got black within the white and white within the black. So this is an energetic symbol of fifth dimensional consciousness, where we are learning to unite. We were learning to see the duality of it and then unite it. So in that middle part of it, you are actually recognizing who you are to the core of your being, which is a creator being. So, right, I've got something running in my shadow, like torturing myself. That's all I feel like I'm worthy of, is torture, basically. So you might have a job where you're on your knees all day, or you'll just feel kind of like just so irritated and bothered by it, but yet you still turn up at 9 o'clock every day to do it 5 days a week. So this is kind of like a real sign of self-persecution. I only deserve torture. Look at the duality of it. The opposite of torture is pleasure. So where is it that you are not creating any joy or pleasure in your life? So you've experienced torture in your past lives and ancestral bloodline, purely to come to this moment, to remember who you are, which is a creator being. And I can alchemize this into another way of being, from my tortured self into pleasure in yourself. I know there's no quips around there, I know. It put a smile on my husband's face anyway, because he's in the program of torture, and he's beginning to see it, love him. But yeah, he actually was the best torturer in one of his past lives as well. So, you know, he knows a lot about torture. But he's learning about pleasure now in this life. So this is the new 5D reality. And kind of like being in joy and pleasure for some of us will just feel so different. The change is kind of like, oh, I've got to revert back to torturing myself. I'm not worthy of this, you know, all of this pleasure and this joy. I'm not worthy of it, right? I'll revert right back. It's fine. It's like riding a bike. If you fall off that pleasure train every now and again and get back onto, you know, the gravel rash when you fall off, just pick yourself up again, run alongside the train and hop back on. Absolutely fine. Raw nature and earth wisdom. So, many at the moment are kind of like getting back to nature. You know, kind of like wanting to get out of the great big, you know, mansion type houses or whatever, and going for something that is more sustainable. Or even just kind of like walking in nature, you know, really feeling all of that beautiful crystal energy that is under the soil, in the grounds, and it's an unspoken language. So you know, you feel it when you're walking through the woods or you're walking through nature. How does it make you feel? You know, is your heart singing? Those of you that have been warriors or soldiers and you've literally marched for miles on the earth and the ground, you may have different feelings around it. And again, you know, they can be honoured and transformed also. Because, you know, sometimes walking on those woodland trails can be triggering of old memories from old lives when you were walking into battle. So for you, you know, kind of like walking in nature may have another feeling around it. It's just a layer. Get back to the raw self of the language of the earth. And that could look at a different way for you of getting back into raw nature. It could be just the odd house plant, you know, that might be all you can manage right now, and that's good too. Also kind of like raw nature and earth wisdom as well, kind of like it's honouring the phases and cycles of the earth as well, you know, kind of like all the seasons. But we've learned to not recognise these seasons. You know, these have been old traditions for centuries, awake before we fell asleep, and it's kind of like now we're awakening, they are going to start to combat the phases and cycles of the planet that is also energetically without words going to speak to us. So kind of like wintertime, you'll want to kind of go back to ground and you'll want to do not very much and be a little bit kind of like sleepy and lazy. Absolutely fine. Put on a couple of pounds, whatever it is. Springtime comes on, you know, you start to kind of like pop into the activity again. Initially achy because you're just kind of like waking up, and that's all natural phases and cycles, and that's fine. Once you get into the swing of it, summertime's here and you're kind of like, you're on it and you're energized. And again, kind of like the seasons of the fall and everything else, it's starting to kind of like, right, I've got all this abundance because I've been cultivating all summer, and it's time to, I'm putting all of this, I'm having my little nest in order to hibernate back in it in winter. So it's the raw connections with nature, and it's all of its phases and cycles, all of the elements, all of the weather. Another scenario that I've seen a little video on that one. Connecting to ancestors. So again, some of our shadow can lie in ancestral bloodlines, the experiences that our ancestors held in third dimensional programming is also kind of like little files within your DNA. When we are doing shadow work, you know, can I ask for the file to be opened? Show me the file in whatever format as a reader, kind of like you can, and a reader, and everyone has this ability to be a reader, to be a seer. Everyone has it. You've all got the equipment. It's just you've decided for some reason to switch it off. you can decide at any time to switch it back on. So kind of like have a meditation, or just before you go to sleep, or yeah, just before you go to sleep is a really good time to do this. Ask for that file to be open around your shadows, and it will show you. Somebody will you know, and this is where we need people and other people in this human experience, in that a person may come in and trigger a response to you that feels uncomfortable. This is why triggers are amazing, because they're the shadows that feed the light. So just look at how you are feeling in a certain scenario with a person that may have triggered you, because that will be one of the keys to unlock some of your DNA. And interestingly, once we kind of like just be the observer of it, and we don't have to change it, is just be the observer of it, something seems to happen with DNA and strands start to expand. So obviously if DNA strands are expanding, and this is our coding as human beings, then something will start to address in physical form once all these strands of DNA start coming on. Sometimes you've got to leave things in the mystery to unravel. So kind of like I had a 3D program in kind of like, I wanted to know how everything worked. I wanted the knowledge. And it's kind of like a more of a fifth dimensional program, is kind of like, it's good to leave some things in the mystery. I can allow it to unfold. Don't need to know everything. That's absolutely fine. It just is. Don't need to know how it works. It just is. Or it not just is, it's what also what could be is also a really kind of like interesting mindset, like moving forward as well. It's not what is, it's what could be. Unspoken language, as well as a new fifth dimensional program. So unspoken language, or language that doesn't have words, or a language of the world. So the language of the world is feeling, you know, when your heart is talking to you, not your head. So this can be in forms of intuition. This could come through and you just see a number all the time. So it's kind of like, and you can use Google, you know, we have technology, why not use it for our own purposes, right? I'll angel number, whatever it is on Google. There's always going to be a message there that's relevant to you. Particularly if you are asking your angels and asking your team is highest light for certain questions, become a real ask-all. They love it. Keeps them busy and out of mischief. They love it. So we've closed the door on that ability for centuries as well. Open that door back up. They've been there waiting like Sonic the Hedgehog with a foot tapping for centuries. They've not gone away, they're still there, and they'll always be there forever, infinitely for you. Reconnect with that connection. Brings me on to connectivity. Collaborations. Getting together with people of a like-minded energy. So when we get together with people of a like-minded energy, great things can happen. So they will really shine a light on your strengths, any weaknesses that you've had, you know, your little connected community will not shine a great big torchlight on it. You know, they will still love you for however it is that you are turning up. So find your tribe, because, you know, if you are on a similar mindset, this is when kind of like maybe projects could be coming in, and purpose work could be coming in for you, that you could work on something collectively. So find like-minded people. Connectivity. Yeah, so there are kind of like the 5D future programs as to where we are heading. So get out your comfort zone, really kind of like search and feel into them. Your heart will say absolute yes to pleasure. Your heart will say absolutely to, you know, follow it. It is the unspoken language. Feelings and intuition. So indigos, again, kind of like real big switch on. Feelings and intuition. I've just got this feeling that something is really, really heightened with intuition. The DNA becoming more crystalline. Just be aware of microwave energy as well, because if you were to think what would happen if you were to put a crystal in a microwave, and if your DNA is going and your physical form is getting a little bit more crystalline, because we do have crystals kind of like in the pineal gland, in the ear canals, and we have kind of like crystals all over the body. Some people would call them gallstones or kidney stones. They are another form of crystal, but so these crystals are a different form of frequency apparently. So when you transmute the fear, it transmutes the energy, interesting, of the kidney stone. It changes it into a different type of crystal, a clearer, cleansed, a similar frequency to quartz crystal. Interesting. All right. So that was new information that's just coming to me. So kind of like, this is why it's so lovely to kind of like to do these videos and talk to you, because sometimes interesting things are coming in while I'm talking about things. Fascinating. So, heart open to unspoken language. Language of the world. It will speak to you. It will give you huge guidance as to walk forward. You are never alone, ever. The universe has got you back and is helping you on every step of your journey. So I hope that even just that last statement brings comfort to many of you out there that are losing hope a little bit. There's always hope, always hope. And if we lose hope, then we will simply kind of have the choice to leave this plane, this current plane of existence, basically. So hope is quite important. So hold a little bit of hope, have a little bit of faith in yourselves as well. You can do this. You can really do this. We've got this. We've got each other. You've got your team in the highest light. You've got the whole world. That is absolutely, you know, pushing you forward. The current energy of the planet is so abundant in frequency for these new programs in the Christ grid. So meditations as well, if you are seeing brown and oranges at the moment. So this is, so your brown is kind of like your real wholesome energy. Your orange is the fear and the fire and the passion. It's all going to accumulate into something. So your fears and your fires and your passions is going to accumulate into something very wholesome. So kind of like these passion projects that may be coming up as well, you know, they're really going to bring in, I'm going to talk about this in a separate video because there's lots kind of like within this one as well. So I will leave my love with you. Take care everyone, lots of love.